America is confronting evolving and increasingly complex threats. Few people have played a bigger role in helping keep America safe in this challenging global environment than Admiral William H. McRaven. From his supporting roles in the capture of Saddam Hussein in 2003 and the killing of the top al-Qaeda leader in Iraq, Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, in 2006, to commanding the Special Operations raid that brought Osama bin Laden to justice in 2011, Admiral McRaven has embodied General Donovan's legacy as a visionary, disciplined, and courageous leader. Born into a military family, Bill McRaven learned the importance of hard work and good character from his parents.
My father was a fighter pilot in World War II in Korea, and his father was a doctor in both World War II and World War I. So I come from a long line of soldiers, and my mother was an Air Force wife for 26 years. Both my mother and my father instilled in me a sense of personal responsibility and respect for others. I was always told to be responsible for my actions. They didn't accept excuses, and I was taught not to give any.
Bill McRaven took his parents' values to heart and used them to dedicate himself to breaking his high school's 1-mile track record.
I learned early that if you set goals and work very hard, you can achieve those goals. Even if you aren't the most talented guy on the track team or the basketball team or the football team or in school or in the SEAL teams. Work hard and it pays off.
After graduating high school, Admiral McRaven attended the University of Texas on an ROTC scholarship, where he majored in journalism.
I had a great time at the University of Texas, but got a good military education as well. I chose journalism because I couldn't do math, science, or accounting. And most journalism classes didn't begin until noon, which suited my college lifestyle perfectly.
At the University of Texas, Bill McRaven met his wife, Georgianne, through the ROTC Little Sisters program. After college, McRaven was selected for and successfully completed U.S. Navy SEAL training.
In 1977, nobody had ever heard of Navy SEALs. There were no books, no movies, no articles. All I knew is that to become one, you had to go through some pretty rigorous training, and that enticed me. I liked the physical challenge, and certainly basic SEAL training provided that challenge. But as with other things in my life, you found that the race is not always to the swiftest. Many a good man didn't complete BUD/S, not because they weren't physically strong enough, but because they lacked perseverance. If you just keep showing up and doing the best you can, it's amazing how far you can go.
Admiral McRaven has served throughout his military career in units that trace their origins back to specialized, innovative, and adaptable organizations, including the Underwater Demolition Teams and the OSS Maritime Unit. When General Donovan said he would rather have a young lieutenant with enough guts to disobey a direct order than a colonel too regimented to think and act for himself, he must have had Lieutenant Bill McRaven in mind. As an upstart lieutenant, McRaven received a coveted assignment as the leader of a top SEAL squad. When he didn't like what he saw and moved to install tighter discipline, he was countermanded. McRaven wouldn't budge, and he was soon relieved of command.
I tell young officers and NCOs that learning to overcome failure is one of the most important qualities of any service member. Early in my career, I was fired from the best job in the teams, and that's not easy to overcome. It requires a lot of soul searching, a lot of honesty, and a lot of help from someone who loves you. Like many times in my career, Georgianne was the one that got me through that difficult period in my career and kept me going. If I have achieved any success in my career, it's a direct result of Georgianne. Without her, I wouldn't have made it past ensign.
Soon after, McRaven was assigned command of another SEAL platoon.
Fortunately, after I was relieved from my job, I had others who still had faith in my leadership. They quickly put me back into a command position, and I did pretty well in that assignment. I think it's like any bad experience. You have to learn from it and move on. If you don't, you'll never succeed in life.
Admiral McRaven's ability to learn and to lead has enabled him to command at every level within the Navy SEAL and Joint Special Operations communities. An ideal OSS candidate combined physical and intellectual prowess. Admiral McRaven has exhibited both qualities. Few people match his profound understanding of special operations. In 1993, while in graduate school, he wrote Spec Ops, Case Studies in Special Operations, which was published as a hardcover book and is a fundamental text on special operations strategy. His book has earned praise from renowned military strategists.
You magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Special operations require an incredible amount of planning, rehearsals, precise execution, and talented people. Courage and enthusiasm alone is not enough to be successful, so if you approach a complex tactical problem thinking that your individual skills and bravery will win the day, you're likely to be wrong. I think we're good because we understand that every detail matters.
While others stood before the cameras to herald the capture of Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein in 2003 and the death of Abu Musab al-Zarqawi in 2006, Admiral McRaven and his special operations teams stayed silent, but their work was to a great extent what led to success. In 2011, Admiral McRaven planned and commanded the complex, sensitive, and risky mission to apprehend Osama bin Laden, ending the greatest manhunt in history.
I think it will go down in history as one of the finest intelligence operations ever. The courage and the professionalism of the men and women at the CIA and NSA was unmatched in the annals of the intelligence community.
Shortly after the bin Laden raid, McRaven received his 4th star and was put in charge of the U.S. Special Operations Command. Like the CIA, the U.S. Special Operations Command traces its beginnings to the OSS. In fact, the U.S. Special Operations Command's insignia, the Spearhead, was chosen because it was the OSS insignia.
I really like Donovan's boldness and his willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. He was one of the first American leaders to recognize the value of combining intelligence and operations into a single organization. That sounds a little self-evident, but back in the 40s, this was a radical idea. It's been part of our tradition at SOCOM to challenge conventional wisdom, to find special ways to deal with complex problems. I tell you, that comes directly from Donovan and the OSS.
Under Admiral McRaven's transformative leadership, the U.S. Special Operations Command is evolving to meet new challenges.
My vision for the future of Special Operations community really builds on our past. As a force, we've transformed since 9/11. We are without question the finest Special Operations force the world has ever seen. Now, however, we have to take those skills that we learned over the past decade and apply them across the globe. And this is not just about commando raids. I believe our future is about building relationships with our soft counterparts so that they can handle their own security problems. I also think we have to get better about operating in the human domain. That's learning the language, understanding the cultures, building the trust necessary so when we find ourselves in a crisis, we don't have to start from the beginning. As always, though, we have to be bold, aggressive, innovative, challenge conventional wisdom, and trust our great people. I think if we do that, our future will be very bright.
From humble beginnings as a runner trying to break a high school track record, to commanding a mission that took out America's most hated enemy, to transforming U.S. Special Operations Forces to confront emerging global threats, Admiral William H. McRaven has never strayed from his core principles of discipline, hard work, attention to detail, and to use General Donovan's word, guts.
Congratulations, Bill, on receiving the William J. Donovan Award. I want to join everybody that is there this evening to express our deepest gratitude to you for the tremendous service that you've provided this country. Wild Bill Donovan was someone who was truly dedicated and committed to keeping America safe. And I can't think of anybody who has done a greater job at ensuring that the United States of America would be safe for the future. Your work on Special Forces has been extraordinary in building Special Forces as a unique operations team for the United States. It was the reason in our defense strategy that we developed together that we emphasized the role of Special Forces in the 21st century, largely because of the work that you've done with that force. In addition, the bond between our military and intelligence capabilities has been truly improved, and I think represents the kind of partnership that has made this country even stronger. We did a lot of operations together. When I was CIA director, I had the opportunity to work with you time and time again. But most importantly, on the operation to get bin Laden. As you know, there were lots of risks involved in that operation. But I think the key to that was the confidence that we had in the ability of your forces to complete that mission, and you did. Thanks, Bill, for all you've done for this country. Thanks for all you've done to try to ensure that we stay safe for the future. You are a true American hero. Congratulations.
I can think of no more deserving recipient of this year's Donovan Award than Admiral McRaven. Bill's accomplishments embody the audacity, courage, and creativity that defined General Donovan, the OSS, and their military successors, today's Special Operations community. One of the best decisions I made as Defense Secretary was selecting Bill McRaven to take over the Joint Special Operations Command in 2008. At JSOC, Bill continued and enhanced the fusion of intelligence and special operations. Night after night, with great precision and skill, Bill's JSOC teams devastated and demoralized the Taliban leadership and helped create the conditions necessary for a successful transition to Afghan security responsibility. When it came time to bring justice to Osama bin Laden, it naturally fell to Bill McRaven to plan and lead the military mission. While it was certainly a nerve-wracking night in the White House on May 1st, 2011, we also drew comfort from the fact that Bill McRaven was at the helm, a confidence that proved to be entirely justified and deserved. For the past 2 years, as SOCOM commander, Bill has led our military special operations community as it transitions from an era defined by Iraq and Afghanistan to a range of direct and indirect missions across the globe, and all at a time of shrinking budgets and sharper elbows in Washington, D.C. Admiral McRaven has embraced this daunting task with boldness and creativity, and our country will be safer for it. Congratulations, Bill, for this great honor, and my best wishes to you and Georgianne.
Hello, everybody, and hello, Bill, and congratulations on being recognized for your lifetime of service. After the raid against bin Laden, the entire world learned about your extraordinary leadership. It was, I know, more attention than you probably ever wanted as a quiet professional. Tonight, I want to thank you on a personal level for your discipline, professionalism, and patriotism, which I've seen myself. As I've said before, even with all the intelligence we possessed, none of us knew for certain that bin Laden was in that compound. It was maybe a 50-50 proposition. But I made the decision I did. I gave the order to go in because I had 100% confidence in you and in your team. In all those months of preparation, your focus, your attention to detail was unmatched. You always gave me your best military advice. And through it all, you never wavered in your number one priority, the safety of those under your command. I sensed it as we watched the mission unfold second by second. I saw it when we gathered at Fort Campbell to welcome the team home and thank them and their families. That raid will go down as one of the greatest intelligence and military operations in history. And history will record that it was led by Admiral Bill McRaven, one of the finest special operators our nation has ever produced. I know you've brought those same qualities of leadership to bear as you've led our warriors at SOCOM. And to all our intelligence professionals gathered there tonight across so many disciplines, and to all our special operators, thank you. Few Americans will ever see what you do, but every American is safer because of your service. Of course, Bill, we need to be honest. There's one thing that operation lacked, a way to verify bin Laden's height. And so, as you know, when you came to the Oval Office afterwards, I was proud to present you with what I think was a first in military history, a presidentially approved tape measure. Consider it my small contribution to your extraordinary arsenal. Bill, congratulations. And to you and Georgianne, who's served and sacrificed all these years alongside you, we're so grateful. To all of you there tonight, thank you for everything you do to keep us safe as well. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.